the way I understand it, you were a vegetarian since you were a kid, maybe your teens. So you can clarify that. But then over the last couple of years, you've gotten into a vegan diet, and your husband has as well. So talk about that transition and what that diet's been like over the last little bit.
It's been great. So yeah, I've been vegetarian since I was 11, and me and my mum just sort of made the decision one day. We'd watched a documentary about live transportation and went, okay, that's us done. No more meat, and that felt relatively easy at the time. And I had a totally normal relationship with food as a kid. It was only really 19 onwards that it started to kind of go warped. And then a couple of years ago, I was experimenting heavily with plant-based cooking and started to really enjoy the challenge of the flavors and the textures and looking at the nutritional content behind everything, and became really interested in it. Did a lot of reading on it, met a lot of really interesting people that have vegan lifestyles, plant-based lifestyles, and did a vegan cookbook. But I was still eating eggs, and I was like, how can I put out a vegan cookbook and not be fully vegan? This just doesn't seem right. So at that point, me and my husband both went, this was like 1.5 years ago. Right, let's just do it as an experiment and see how we go. And Jesse, my husband, also with the same name, is like once he's doing something, he's doing it. And I thought, oh, he'll last 2 weeks. He's more passionate about it than I am. He's constantly like looking for new ideas, new ways of cooking things. And I just feel really good on it. I know it's not for everyone, but for, again, this point in my life where I want to not only feel good, but I'm also deeply conscious about the impact that I'm having on the planet, and often feel full of shame and guilt that I'm still not doing as much as I could be. I feel like at least I know I'm helping in some ways with that. My kids aren't vegan. I want them to make that decision for themselves. So I do cook them meat, and I want them to come to that conclusion whenever they do, if they do. If not, no judgment. They do whatever they want. But for me and Jesse, it feels really good, and I'm really enjoying it. And I don't know, it's a common, I don't think it's ever one thing. Like, I think having a plant-based diet, making sure that I'm disciplined with all this stuff, going to bed early, now in a phase of my career that I love, I've got more energy. I don't think it's ever one thing, but it definitely contributes to feeling good.
That's great. So happy for you guys. And can you take me through what a typical day of eating might look like? Or
Yeah.
are you into intermittent fasting at all? Do you ever skip breakfast or
No.
no? Okay. Talk about what you'd eat in a
I
day.
don't think I could. I think because of my past, I just have to be so careful with fasting, and those things just might not work for me, or could kind of trigger me to getting unhealthy relationships again with food. I know it works brilliantly for some people, but I try it. So I get up, I have a very strong coffee, which I would never give up. I'm not interested in a caffeine-free life. Thank you very much. I love every sip of it. And then I usually try and do some sort of movement before I eat. So a quick workout, quick run, nothing major, like 20 minutes. Come back. I make me and Jesse this amazing smoothie, which sounds gross, but it's really good, with oat milk, dates, bananas, blocks of frozen spinach, might put some flax in there. But again, nothing fancy, all quite regular stuff. But so it's the spinach, 2 massive blocks of that. I'm whopping back the iron. Love it. And then we'll have porridge, granola. We might make vegan pancakes, like whatever it is after that. I like an open sandwich with like peanut butter, bananas, something like that. Then for lunch, I make a lot of really good soups usually for lunch. So I made yesterday, but I ate today a beetroot soup that I made with beetroot, miso, and chickpeas and stock. It's quite easy. I like making soups because it's just easy. So I usually have like soup and salady things for lunch. I snack constantly throughout the day, by the way. I mustn't miss that out. I'm constantly snacking. I'm like a little squirrel, constantly needing oat cakes with peanut butter and chocolate, and vegan chocolate, obviously, and fruit and nuts. And I constantly nibble on things. And then for dinner, stews, casseroles, sometimes like rice-based dishes with vegetables, lots of tofu, lentils, love lentil dishes. all the kind of vegan staples we try and get in there and look at the sort of protein that's needed, mainly looking at lentils and tofu and stuff like that when it comes to dinner. And Jesse's luckily he's way better cook than I am, so he makes some great stuff, and we alternate, who cooks. And then usually I'll have a nice cup of rooibos tea, which I'm obsessed with, before bed. Maybe a couple of biscuits. Love a biscuit. Sometimes me and Jesse will have a late night bowl of cereal, late night bit of toast. We're kind of all big grazers in our house. But yeah, we just try and look at the iron and the protein thing, and the rest is just, whatever we fancy.
And since you guys have been doing this now for a year and a half and are feeling great, you don't really see an end in sight?
I don't. I mean, we've talked about it, and I think we're just kind of going with the flow at the moment. I think if I had like a crazy strong urge that I wanted to have an omelette and I could get some really nice free range eggs from somewhere, then I would do it. But at the moment, I don't have that urge. And I feel like I'm really enjoying the experimental side, but I really like knowing that I'm not contributing to the sort of animal cruelty that is obviously going on with a lot of badly made produce that's being put out there, badly distributed produce. It sort of terrifies me that so much of that still goes on. So yeah, no judgment to meat eaters, no judgment to people that aren't vegan. Honestly, I think everyone should be able to do whatever they want. But for us at the moment, it definitely feels like it works.